Well, this episode's going to be a little bit different. So, we only got right now to review from two different Yoshi promotions straight out of Japan. We got Actwres Girl'z, which is a promotion I reviewed once before, but there's three events that I came across, and a brand new one that I did not know of. It's been around for almost 2 years or so. This one's called World Women Pro Wrestling Diana, or you can just simply call it Diana. So let's get started on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling from AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, matches, wrestlers, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. Now, as you know, I'm going to be doing two different Yoshi promotions straight out of Japan. The first one I'll review is a brand new one called World Women Pro Wrestling Diana, or simply just Diana. Now, not a lot of information I was able to pick up, but I can try to pick up the basics, what I can discover. This is what it tells me. The promotion was founded by Kyoko Inoue back in January of 2010, who left Neo Women's Pro Wrestling at the time. So basically, she's the one who organized the whole thing, and there were other people from other promotions that are no longer around. They help her out. They even joined, but it's a pretty interesting promotion, even if it's small. But I've seen so far from what I reviewed on their events, there have been women coming back and forth on this one from different promotions such as Actwres Girl or Ice Ribbon or Anywhere. Basically, those are the freelancers. They go anywhere. So let's talk about the first one I saw. This one took place last year in Yokohama on the 19th of December 2020 for an evening show. There were two shows on that date, but I was able to find this information. So, first match was a tag team match. We have Tai Hamna teaming with Ami Miura taking on Hanako Nakamori and Ayako Sato. Now, keep in mind some of these names are new, others I may have seen them elsewhere. So, try to keep up. It was a interesting match. A bit more like how do I say? A bit harder, but more um uh, try a little bit of show a character. That's the thing. But however, it was a really good match. But I enjoyed it. So the team that won was Nakamori and Ayako Sato. Next match, we have a singles match. We have Nanami versus Miyuki Takase. Now, what I can tell from the match, I look at Miyuki Takase as more like she has a little bit of experience. Nanami is still like still learning. Like she's still on the learning curve, which is okay because this promotion does have a dojo, which makes perfect sense to me. But of course, it was Takase who won the match. Next match is another tag teams. We got Rina Shingaki and Akari taking on Andres Andres Miyagi and someone who I've seen in Ice Ribbon, Madeline. Now this particular match was a very interesting one. Madeline seems like the more of the gymnastic type. I've seen her before in Ice Ribbon. She did a pretty good job also teaming with Miyagi, but it still didn't stop them from be it didn't give them enough edge to win their match. They lost to Rina, Shingaki, and Akira. No, Akari. So basically, that's how it happened. But it's great to see a familiar face because, like I said, I don't know a lot of the women involved in this promotion, but it's good to see her. Now, the main event on this one was another tag team, was another singles match. This one is between Ayame Sasamura, who's representing Active Pro Wrestling, which was formerly known as Kaintai Dojo, taking on Akura Misaki. This one was a very interesting match because I can tell that Ayame has a little bit of experience in submission. Um, what's her name? Aruka really tries to also do the same thing, but however, it was in fact Ayame who won the match with a great submission hold. I think she was doing the Boston Crab. I'm not 100% sure if that was it or was the one-legged crab. I'm not. I can't remember. But yeah, so I think that's it for this particular one. So let's move on to the next one, which is in Kawasaki. Okay, so we'll continue on more with um, Diana or World Women Pro Wrestling Diana. I forgot to let you guys some of these matches that I witnessed were less than I did not anticipate, but however, it was pretty good. The first one I mentioned, there were only 4 matches. The one we're going to review right now, it's only 3. So, first match is another tag team match. We got Nanami teaming with Madeline taking on Amy Miura taking on, of course, Koyoko Inoue, who we seen already, who I mentioned she's the founder. A pretty good hard hitting match. You know, you can tell from this that Koyota is one of the ones who makes sure that her team wins, even though they're trying to give Nanami a little bit of exposure because we know she seems new to me from what I can tell. But it was a very interesting match. But however, it was Kyoko and Amy who won the match. Next match is another tag team. We got one. First team is Lumio's. I hope I can pronounce it. It's Haruka Umisaki teaming with Miyuki Takase, taking on Tsukashi Haruka and Ayako Sato. Another name I mentioned from the previous name, but another interesting match. Um, I kind of wasn't sure much what to expect, but the match was okay. Um, Probably B minus or C plus, however it is. But it was interesting. But yeah, good match. But I'm still trying to get pumped, trying to get more excited to see how this one will go down the line. If I see more of these events, I'll let you guys know. Now the main event is a triple or a three-way match. We have Andres Miyagi versus um, Kaoru Ito and Jaguar Yokota. Now Kaoru Ito is also one of the veterans. She even helps out with the in the dojo. Now this match seems like a very interesting one because you don't know how this is gonna play. Miyagi's the kind who doesn't socialize with anybody, but if she's teams with someone, she has to be the teammate to try to pull through. But however, in this three-way, it was kind of impossible to tell who was gonna win. But however, somehow Jaguar was able to outsmart uh, Kaoru Kaoru in the match when she pinned Andres Miyagi. So she won the match. Now, what did I think about this? The interesting stuff, even though it's independent promotion, but I learned over time is to appreciate independence because you get to see where these girls are coming from, who they learn from. But yeah, even though there is no English commentating or subtitles, it's just fine. It keeps it more interesting for fans like myself. So I think that's it right now with reviewing this promotion. Diana, I say review Actwres Girl'z. They only had 3 events, so let's do that right now. Alrighty, so we got Actwres Girl'z. So basically, this is one of their events that took place last December, which is on December 20th of 2020. Like I said, there's still some girls but turns out there's some girls I've seen so far that comes in from any promotion from Ice Ribbon or the previous one I just mentioned, Diana. But let's just go from there. First match we is from the show's called Beginning, just to let you guys know. Keep in mind, also a very short event. They only have 5 matches in this one. First match we have Michiko Miyagi taking on Yoshiko Hasegawa. Michiko Miyagi, I have to say, she's a bit more of the. She had kind of like a similar type of camouflage, but really interesting character. Yushiko Asagawa, she's all right. Um, but I have to say, Michiko is really interesting to pay attention to because she's more of the. She seems a bit aggressive, but it kind of stands out a bit, and that kind of made her win her match, most likely from what I can tell. So she won her match. Next match we have a tag team match. We got Mai Sakurai teaming with someone we also know, Maya Yukihi, who we've seen in Ice Ribbon, taking on Noah Agarachi and Miyuki Takase, who we've seen on Diana. Another fun match as well. Very interesting. I have to say, I was enjoying the tag team match even to the full extent, but however, it was in this particular match that Mai Sakurai and Maya Yuhiki won the match. It was a really hard hitting match from what I can tell, but great one to follow. Next match, we had a 3-way match with Arukai Amisaki, who we've seen on Diana, taking on Kakeru Sekiguchi versus Noki Ai. Now, there was Noki Ai is the kind of who doesn't give a damn about anybody, but there was a moment where we see Noki Ai who kind of was trying to ward the two opponents down when one is going up, the other one's going down when they do the roll up. But basically, Noki Ai was trying to work both sides so that way give her the slight advantage to win. And luckily, it did pay off for her because the more it was doing that, even the referee who keeps counting like 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, it kind of made it more funnier. But his hand was also worn out from counting. But it was Nokia who picked up the victory, and she was smart enough to use what was easy for her. Next match is it's a singles match. Amy Miura taking on Miku Ayuno. Amy, I think we've seen her in Diana. She was pretty good and very interesting. But however, from what I can tell, it was Miku no who had more of the edge from what I can see, but it did allow her to win her match. Excuse me. Now the main event. Now, if you guys recall the last previous time I reviewed this promotion, they were doing this thing called the 8WG Tag Team Title Tournament. It was the semifinal match. This one was before this one, that one, this one was the one that I reviewed happened on the 30th of December, but this one was on the 20th. They were continuing on with the second round. That round, the one I reviewed, was a semi-final. So the first team is Kogo and Momotani taking on Spicep, who I mentioned before, Mikey Osaki, and Tae Homna. But from what I can see the Spicep was the most dominant one. Because if you guys don't know this, I did see these two women appear at Ice Ribbon with the belts. But it makes perfect sense because it kind of exposed it a little bit. But it was Spice Up the one, all thanks to Tai Humna, who is more of the powerhouse of the team. So they advanced in the round. So I think that's it for this one. So let's move on with the next event that they did was called Act 50. Okay, we're continuing on with Actwres Girl'z. Now we're doing their event called Act 50. This one took place on the 28th of last January. So the first match, the opening match was Ayume Ayashi teaming with Momotani, taking on Ayano Ari and Hikari Shimizu, who is, I think, one of their top champions in the promotion. Very interesting match, from what I can see. Um, because if they have the champ involved in this, you can probably imagine, oh, they could win it or lose it. However, the scenario is being played. But it was a good match. It was Akari who actually won the match for her team. So that's practically it with a very interesting finisher. Don't know how to describe it, but yeah. Next match, we have the next team called 3A. We got Rina Shingaki and Ayame Sazamura taking on Michuko Miyagi and Misa Matsui. It was another interesting match because I would have assumed that Michiko Miyagi would be the most dominant one to do a lot of the work on this one, but it didn't. It was the other team that did it mostly with great tag teaming on their part. But what can I say? Awesome tag team match. So it was 3A who won the match. Next match, we have Mari teaming with Tai Hamna taking on Saki and Miyuki Takase. Um, when I look at this one, Saki, she kind of is like a different version of what's her name, Anna Kamura, who rest in peace, has a similar uh, look than her. But I'm not gonna say they're the same, but they're not. But similar, the way they have their gear. But it was also another interesting match with Saki and Takase. I was like, wow, pretty interesting. I have to say I pay attention to Saki, but it's Tai Hamna who I also pay attention due to the fact she's in a tag tournament. But it was Saki who made the pin for her team on this one. Made the pin for her team on this one. Now let's go. Now we go to the other match, which is the main event. This one is also part of the tag tournament that I mentioned, the AWG Tag Team Title Tournament. This one is the semifinals. This one has Miku Anoi and Kagetora Sekiguchi taking on Amy Murai and Noki A. You can tell who can actually won this one, but the one thing I can tell from seeing these teams when they're teaming, I look at Noki I. She's the one who doesn't seem like she cares only about winning. And of course, Amy Miura is in fact trying to keep up to her pace. But however, seeing Miku Noi and Kageru Sekiguchi, you can tell they are more cohesive. It seems like I can tell from what I can see, they look like they have team before. But from what I can see, they were like the second favorite to go up to the finals, and that's exactly what they did. They actually won this one, and they go to the finals, which is the following one that we're going to review, which is Act 51, and they will be facing Spice App. So I think that's it for this one. So let's move on with Act 51. All right, the last thing from this one with Actwres Girl'z, we got Act 51. This one took place on the 14th of February. So let's get started from start to finish. First match is a singles match. We got Yuko Sakurai taking on Noki A. Noki I. Whatever. Hopefully I got it right. But however, I looked at Noki I, who doesn't seem like she doesn't care, but she just doesn't play along. You know, when you have your hand up, she's not interested in doing that. But she likes to play a little bit of the mind games. That's what she did on this one, and that's how she played in her part to winning the match, being a bit of aggressive, but also trying to play a little dirty from what I can see. And it disallowed her to win her match. Next match is a tag team match. We got Ayumi Ayashi teaming with Rina Amikura, taking on Ayano Ari and Mari. I look at Mari as like another version of Milani from Mortal Kombat, but I like I like her ring gear. A bit more with the mask similar to that, but yeah, but it was a very hard hitting match. Not to mention submission techniques that were being displayed. It was kind of difficult to tell who's gonna win, but however, it was in fact um what's her name, Anikura, who pulled up the victory for her team, allowing her to win. So this one goes to them. Next match we have not a singles match. We got Momotani and Ikari Shimizu. So another great example of the match. Now I can tell from this that Shimizu is willing is the kind who the has a bit more experience than Momotani, but Momotani does have some great techniques that she could pull up. But it, from what I can see, is Shimizu who won this one. I think she pulled up a pin. Yeah, it was a pin fall that allowed her to win the match. Next match is a tag team match. We got Misa Matsui teaming with Saki, taking on Amy Miura and Miyuki Takase. Another great example on this one. You can tell Saki, she seems like one of the girls who could become the rising stars of this promotion, and that allowed her to win the match. But however, I'm not sure what she said in a post match. I'm not entirely sure if she's gunning for the titles. It wouldn't be a surprise to me because, from what I can gather, the the um, the AWG tag team titles were vacant. Now, no specific details why, but that's why the tournament was happening because of that. So it's like any other tournament. You know, when you vacant them, either because one member of the team is unable to do it because the injury, or they just drop the titles because they moved to another promotion. That's how it normally works. But that's where we're going with the main event. So we got the finals for this tournament for the AWG Tag Team Title Championship Tournament. We got Miku Onoi and Kakeru Sekiguchi taking on Spice App, Mike, Micah Ozaki, and Tai Humna. Awesome match on this one, especially they're one of these teams is so determined to win the match to become the tag champions for Actwres Girl'z. You don't know who was gonna pit it up, but to me, it kind of it's like I kind of spoiled it a little bit for all of you. It was Spice App who won it, so they are happy they got the titles. But the real question is, who will be the ones to challenge them? Well, we just gotta wait and see when we get there. So I think that's it for now. So stay tuned for the next episode coming up. We got continuation with more of the New Japan Cup. I got also AEW Elevation and Got to Move as well. Well, Got to Move Choco Pro. So I'll see you guys in the next on the next DWZ time on this DWZ channel. So I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye and have a nice day. Bang.